All right, so we're back for episode 2, and in this episode we're going to cover how to prepare your files when you're saving. So we have our file here ready for exporting, ready to be printed. It's always good to double check everything before you're going to do a final save. So for this one, it's a 1624, 300 resolution. Everything looks good. All the sizes are matching. It's the minimum 300 in resolution like we talked about in the last video. So we're going to hit OK. And we're going to go to File, Save As. And when you're exporting files and saving them, there's a few options to get into first. First is the format. JPEG is good for small, quick edits if you're checking something, if you want to see how something looks computer to computer, if you want to see how something looks on Instagram or Facebook. A JPEG is a nice, concise, compact, small file extension, just to do a quick preview. When sending a file, you're probably going to want to pick TIFF. TIFF is one of the more robust files. It's typically good for storage, for having multiple layers if you don't want to flatten something, if you're working with composites, things like that. TIFF files are really good. They're one of the more robust, and from a printing end, on our end, we typically have the least amount of issues with TIFF files. Sometimes with JPEGs, you may get corruption issues. You may get files being too small because it's a smaller file extension. Photoshop files are also good. They typically need flattening. They typically have all the layers mixed in with them. They're not bad, but when you're sending it to a printing company, a nice, concise, flattened file is always the best. So let's go ahead and select TIFF. And usually when you get something off your camera, it's going to have the DSC_9902. It's going to have some code instead of a file name. So when you're setting your files up for exporting to a printing company, what we recommend is always, you can never have too much information in your file name. So for example, we're going to put 16 by 24 because that's the size we want. We're also going to put, say, an aluminum print. So we'll put aluminum print. And you can also put your name. That's always quite handy on our end. Sometimes we're downloading multiple files at once, so if it has your name, it can always be cross-referenced to your company, your phone number, your email, in case there's any issues. So we'll put John Smith. And now your files are ready to save. We've selected the format, all the other options match. Like we mentioned in the previous video, the ICC profile, it matches what we're working with in Photoshop. So then we can hit save. And that's going to bring us to our final screen. And the one that we're concerned with here is image compression. Everything else here, JPEG, ZIP, LZW, is going to compress the image, and so we want none. We want no image compression. We want the file as big as we can get it. So we're going to hit OK, and our file is ready to be sent off to our local print lab. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. In the next one, we're going to go over when to use each type of media. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.